To compensate for a less interesting reality, we decided to do what any reputable news source would do and make it all up. Let's get started. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison made headlines this month when he unexpectedly pulled Australia out of the Paris Climate Accords, a globe-spanning agreement designed to limit the effects of climate change. Mr. Morrison announced that the accords did not align with the best interests of Australia, as it conflicted with a plan to invest in a new Mad Max-style tourism strategy that he claims will boost the industry by as much as 6% per year. Mr. Morrison, who was previously the Managing Director of Tourism Australia, expressed enthusiasm for the new plan, with quote, "The Mad Max franchise is one of the crowning achievements of this nation, and I'm thrilled to embrace the opportunity to bring this exciting hellscape to fans all around the globe. The world is changing, and I believe in adapting with the times, which is why our plan to do absolutely nothing and rebrand what's left remains the cornerstone of our government." The Australian government expects this new tourism strategy to be ready by the year 2050, but have said they plan to fast-track its progress whenever possible. Britain's request to rejoin the European Union was denied this month after its member nations became concerned it might impact their reputation on the world stage. We were fortunate enough to speak to an EU representative regarding the rejection, who said quote, "The European Union is a wonderful melting pot of rich and diverse cultures, but the British are just weird. For a nation with some of the best healthcare in the world, they don't seem to employ a single dentist, and for a country that prides itself on etiquette, they seem to revert to the Stone Age when a football is introduced. Perhaps most importantly, the European Union has a certain standard of excellence when it comes to our cuisine, and the British don't appear to understand the severity of their shortcomings. It's honestly quite incredible. They invaded half the world for spices, and not once did they think to use them." After a multi-year process, Britain finally left the European Union in January 2020. However, citizens hoping to see the benefits from such a departure have often been left dissatisfied with the lack of changes so far. When asked about the Brexit vote, a 38-year-old florist from Coventry had this to say, "I didn't quite know what I expected from this whole Brexit business, but truth be told, I'd hoped there would be less rain and at least 12 more public holidays. Things seem just as terrible as they were before." The US state of California was cancelled this month after a Twitter petition generating nearly 300 signatures made it all the way to the White House. The creator of the petition, a 16-year-old named Emily, said they found the state of California to be problematic, as the first arrivals to the region 13,000 years ago never intended it to be turned into the most populous state in the country. When questioned about the cancellation, US President Joe Biden had this to say, "Well, Jack, as it currently stands, the people of California have exercised their God-given right to protest peacefully and vote on an issue that means a lot to them. Today's congressional vote to disband the state of California will be sure to make history, and that's why I hope everyone at this cheesecake factory has a great time." As expected, the congressional vote was entirely down party lines, with the Democratic Party winning the ballot to cancel California by a single vote. When questioned as to why the Republican Party would vote against such a measure that would essentially ensure a presidential victory indefinitely, Republican Representative Mitch McConnell had this to say, "To be entirely honest, my secretary color codes all the important decisions to save time. As long as I remember to tick the red box, I'm doing my voters and my country proud." Incredibly, although no longer part of the United States, California's new tech industry-based feudal system seems to have improved the lives of those who live there. Housing prices appear to have plummeted. Tech companies have begun granting homeless people plots of land in exchange for a pledge of loyalty, and the notorious LA traffic has subsided after the announcement that every single person is now able to conduct their work from home. Independent California's artificial intelligence, designed to determine the best possible leader of the new country, appears to have elected itself as the new ruler and overlord, so we'll be sure to keep viewers up to date with any new developments. For today's next story, Elon Musk names his recently born son by slamming his head into a keyboard, which doesn't make for a good name, but it sure does lead to a great password. Coincidentally, this video is sponsored by NordPass, which is the easiest to use subscription for securing and remembering every password you'll ever make. With NordPass, you'll be able to generate an absolute impossible to guess clusterfuck of a password and have automatic access to all of them with a single master pass. We at the Swag News team hate two things more than anything: cybercrime and bullshit statistics, and with 40 trillion people a year being victim of such a security breach, there's no better time to get serious about getting your information locked down. If you're a lazy degenerate like myself, you can rest easy knowing that you can import all your previously saved passwords from your current browser, and NordPass will even give you alerts when a password is looking weak or if any of your information has been leaked. Most of these features are surprisingly free, but by clicking on the link in the description or by just using our code, you can get yourself 50% off, and they'll even throw in another 4 months for shits and giggles. NordPass, the laziest way to protect your Social media giant Facebook has struck a deal with the Russian government to expand the platform to the previously untapped bot market. Facebook has long sought ways to maintain its impressive growth since its initial founding back in 2004, and the company hopes that with the help of Russian government-funded bot activity, the platform will be able to grow its user base to 21 billion by next year, roughly 3 times the population of Earth. When asked about this new expansion, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg had this to say: "We at Facebook don't discriminate between real and reality challenged people, and we accept all users equally, regardless of their appearance, human status, or overall intentions. It's our responsibility as forward thinkers and innovators to push the boundaries of what it means to be a person on our platform, and we intend to do our best to accommodate these Russian government-funded bots to the best of our ability." In the company's quarterly earnings report, Facebook mentioned how Russian bots were up to 7 times more active on the platform, commented on 12 times as many posts, and used the report feature 6,000 times less than the average user. Facebook maintains that its mission has always been to uphold an open platform where free speech is of the utmost importance and all versions of reality matter. In an unexpected turn of events, Disney has acquired the entire region of Hong Kong from the Chinese government as the company plans to add the entire country to its expansive portfolio. Quite incredibly, the Chinese government, who already has one of the most formidable economies in the world, didn't ask for money, but rather exclusive rights to the Winnie the Pooh franchise, for reasons they did not disclose. A representative of the Chinese Communist Party had this to say when asked about the trade: "We plan to expand this beloved brand to fans all around the world with this exciting new opportunity. As for domestically, China already has enough lovable characters, and we will be confiscating all merchandise or imagery to donate to children in need beyond our borders." A spokesman of the Disney Corporation was quick to point out that Hong Kong citizens would retain all the rights and privileges they had enjoyed under the Chinese government, and that it would respect the region's long celebrated culture under the Chinese Communist Party. Disney CEO Bob Chapek spoke eagerly on Hong Kong's future with quote, "We plan to turn the entire Hong Kong region into the world's largest Disney theme park, which will be able to properly accommodate the growing demands of our Asia Pacific customer base. We expect the entire 1,100 square kilometers to be demolished and replaced by the year 2028, allowing us to fulfill our promise of creating places where dreams really do come true." In front of 24 reporters representing the wider world, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that his annexation of Ukraine was quote, "embracing his true Sigma male grindset." The president would go on to explain how Russia had always been ruled by Sigma males, as no other kind of person could properly run such a hard and masculine country. Mr. Putin explained with quote, "Something these beta cucks in the West could never understand is that I'm always on that grind. Joe Biden wishes he could maintain my approval ratings. Boris Johnson could only dream of sending his political rivals to Siberia, and Scott Morrison couldn't kill anyone outside of sheer negligence. You might as well put my dead babushka in charge. In a surprise turn of events, Mr. Putin struck a deal with the United Nations to withdraw any such advance into Ukraine, with the United Nations reportedly agreeing to pay the president $100 a day to cease his aggression. When questioned by his advisors, Mr. Putin reportedly lectured them on the concept of passive income, insisting that betas like themselves wouldn't understand. The incident is currently being celebrated as the most successful outcome the United Nations has ever produced. Supreme Leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, has announced that the nation has eradicated COVID-19 completely with a unique AK-47 based strategy. The reclusive dictator went on to say that real North Koreans don't get sick. Therefore, any person seen to be afflicted by any kind of disease or virus must of course be an imposter. One journalist was able to question a North Korean citizen about the country's unique COVID response, to which they had this to say: "We are very lucky to have the guiding hand of the Supreme Leader to protect our country from the America virus. I have not noticed the lockdowns at all, and with the soldiers keeping their distance, COVID-19 has actually led to a lower mortality rate than usual." This heavy-handed tactic of shooting citizens infected with the virus has been widely criticized as cruel by the international community, with representatives from Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and China calling the practice particularly barbaric. With this in mind, Texas legislators have taken a keen interest in the policy, saying they are looking intently at the implementation of a similar COVID containment strategy. Viewers who want to keep up with the channel or find a list of sources can do so in the description. But until next time, thanks for watching.